I'm Jaeline Valdez. Alongside me is Leah Lockwood and Allie, Elkins. We have a great show for you guys today. We'll go over that 20-point VCU comeback and the unfortunate loss to Dayton last night. And we'll also have a new hot take segment, Take It or Leave It. Also, we have a great feature by our very own Robin Stone as to why the Riley Center has been on the advantage side for the men's basketball team.
Okay with that shot.
We're taking a look at this fantastic Dayton game last night, or not so fantastic for the Bonnies. Of course, I think it was a great game. We're looking at some really good offense from this Bonaventure team despite the loss. I mean, this dunk to get the offense started in my point of view, and then we're looking at some really great ball movement from this team. Of course, not right there. That was an unfortunate play, but here, great mid-range shots. We saw a lot of that last night, some good shots from mid-range. We see this one more time right before the buzzer went off. Coming in clutch, and we have some really good work in the paint by Chad Venning. Look at that, he just drives right around him. The Dayton defense was working in overtime, but St. Bonaventure found a way around it. Some great looks all around, and I saw a lot from this highlight package. We're seeing a lot of game from the inside. We also see shots like that from Daryl Banks, something from three to get the offense going, a little bit from the outside. But then, you know, like I said, a little bit sloppy. Didn't get the offense going in that aspect, but again, some great shots from the outside. They had some good looks. You know, the game was a little bit sloppy overall on the ball movement end of things, but Bonaventure still had something good going. I think it's some good strong points for them. Look at that right there, just some stuff like that we don't want to see, but some great rebounding efforts from the Bonnies. And the comeback shot, something like that with the defender on you, great job by Adams Woods to get the offense going in that aspect. And we see here, the Bonnies really came through when it came to getting the ball in situations where they needed to. Of course, unfortunately in that situation, Charles Pride with the travel, and it's the same old story, I think, the whole game. Just sloppy ball movement. It was a difficult game for them. It was a difficult loss. But I think that we're seeing right here, they played well overall. It was a good game by the Bonnies against Dayton and a good effort.
Charles Pride has been a solid everyday starter for an improved and more experienced Bonnies team. But let's take a look at how well Pride has played this season as a transfer from Bryant, where he averaged about 13.5 points and a little over 6.5 rebounds per game. Charles Pride has been dangerous on this Bonnies offense, but average on the defensive side, leading the team in offensive rating, but 5th in defensive rating. Pride has been a leading point scorer for the Bonnies, averaging 11.3 points per game, which is 3rd on the team. Pride has been phenomenal from 3, shooting 42.7%, which is 2nd on the team, but ranks 5th on the team in field goal percentage, shooting 43.5% from the field. Pride has passed the ball well this year, ranking 3rd on the Bonnies with 2.1 assists per game. Charles Pride has been the leading rebounder for the Bonnies, averaging 6.9 rebounds per game. Pride has been the best Bonnie at not turning the ball over. He has only committed 9 turnovers all season, while ranking 3rd on the team in steals with 21 on the season. Charles Pride has contributed a lot to the success of this year's Bonnies team. He shoots the 3 well, grabs lots of rebounds, and rarely turns the ball over. But he could be a little better on the defensive side, as he ranks 5th on the team in defensive rating and only has 1 block on the season. From BBN, I'm Anthony DeSilva.
This has been a long week here at St. Bonaventure with basketball, so we decided to bring back a segment here called One Word, where we sum up the week of basketball. You know, Allie, I'll start with you.
If I have one word for you, Jaeline, it is underwhelming. I think this team has been underwhelming, especially last night. We saw a lot of sloppy ball movement. We saw a lot of bad passes, some things that just didn't work out, as you saw that travel by Pride. Those little things like that determine the game, and I think that they just still haven't quite gotten to the point where they work together well enough yet to really avoid that kind of stuff. So I have to say underwhelming.
Leah?
I'm actually going to have to disagree with you. I'm choosing to look at this a little bit more glass half full. So my word is resilient for this week. I think obviously overcoming VCU is not an easy feat at all. And then obviously last night against 21 ranked Dayton, almost came back and beat them. That was a really great game to watch too. So entertaining.
I'm also going to go on the positive side with Leah. Sorry, Allie, but my word is impressed. You know, truly, they came back from that VCU win. I think that's all what we always talk about. They just sometimes aren't able to finish their games. They aren't able to push through and everything. They like I said, it was a 20-point loss. They came back. Unfortunately, like we said, the Dayton loss, but it wasn't a terrible loss. It was only a 5-point game. And, you know, there was a lot of foul trouble towards the end. But at the end, you know, we talk about a lot, the chemistry and everything. We saw that. So I was pretty impressed with how they came in for this week. Coming up, we'll take a look at a very special Riley Center feature by our very own Robin Stone, Leah's List, and our men's discussion.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign, not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Taking a look at your screen, folks, we'll see the rest of the February schedule for the men's team. The Wednesday, they'll stay here versus UMass at 7 p.m. You can see that on NBC Sports. And then Saturday, they'll play an early game at 2 p.m., which you can tune in to ESPNU, where they'll face Duquesne again. Our very own Robin Stone decided to take a look at how advantageous the Riley Center has been for the men's team in conference play.
The Riley Center, where Bonnie's fans come to cheer on their team. And when they play at home, they hardly ever lose. Over the last 10 seasons, they've won over 100 games. And of course, the Riley's gone through some changes, seeing different looks, hosting different teams. But no matter what year it is, what team it is, Bonna's fans, they come and they show out to show the opposition, this is Bonna territory.
What's consistent is that we're scrappy.
The Riley Center is regarded as one of the hardest places to play in the country, giving the Bonnies an immense home court advantage.
Oh, the students are crazy. They're really just one big party.
But why is this? I talked to the fans to find out what makes home so special.
It's the 5th toughest arena in the nation to play, because when it was built, it was still on the concept that the fans are down on the floor.
The fans are right on top of you. That's the no bones about it.
You have the students right on the sidelines. It's a tough course for any team that comes in here.
The students and the fans are right on top of the action. It's so loud.
When the team does well, the students come out. When the students come out, the team does well.
We don't have a lot of bells and whistles here, but what we have here you can't get out of Syracuse. We have each other.
It gives people something to come together around. It gives people a common experience, and they rediscovered what does it mean to be part of something.
Because of the size of the school and just the community here, it's a real tight fan base.
So many families and so many people who live in the area. This is a very big thing for them.
This is what we do. This is who we are. So it's the tradition that's been filed down from one generation to the other. So it doesn't matter where it is in the nation that there's an allegiance to our basketball.
For the fans, the Riley Center is more than a basketball arena. This is home. This is family. This is a tradition. This is Bonna territory.
As Dr. Sister Paula would say, go Bonnas!
From BBN, I'm Robin Stone.
So as fans, I feel like we understand, we know the vibes of the Riley Center. Can you agree with this package that what the Riley Center does for the men's basketball team this season for conference play is just everything?
100% I agree. I remember even last semester when I had interviewed Nate Williams from UB, he was saying that it just feels like a high school environment, and not like in the bad way like you're thinking. He was just saying that like since everybody is right there on the court, it just feels like they're breathing down the other team's necks. It gets to them.
Yeah, and I gotta agree with that too. On the other side of the spectrum, it's tough to be an incoming other team and play at the Riley Center because this audience is gonna catch you for everything. They're gonna boo you when you're at the foul line. They're gonna shout air ball if you have an air ball. They are not on your side if you're coming here from another school. So it definitely works in the Bonnie's favor.
My favorite is the "You are ugly" chant.
Yeah. Well, yesterday they played Dayton at Dayton, so unfortunately they couldn't have the Riley Center advantage. Let's discuss that game a bit. What went on in that Dayton game? What are some key takeaways?
I'm taking away from that all I want to talk about Barry Evans. Obviously, he came in, provided great energy and just grit. That's exactly what this team needs. That's what the embodiment of this team should be, providing that great defense as well. And then he made an immediate impact on both ends of the floor that doesn't show up in the box score kind of thing. And Schmidt's decision to keep Asa in the game towards the end, I know he had hit a couple three-pointers to kind of get the momentum going in the second half. I just wonder what it would have been like if he would have decided to put Barry Evans back in the game instead.
Yeah, something that I saw in this game that stood out to me was their mid-range game. I think they had some really good mid-range shots in this game. I think I saw a lot of that when they needed the offense, they were shooting from the free throw line. They were finding other spots. They weren't just going for threes. I think that's a good way to create offense. If you can go for something like that, then go for something like that. If you've got an open shot, take the open shot.
Kind of to discuss on your free throw, they only took 8 free throws yesterday, and they were 5 from 8. I feel like that's a statistic that we're not we're used to. They take typically many free throws during the game, not typically missing a lot. What happened yesterday?
I mean, obviously we saw some foul trouble from the big men in Brown and Venning. It was just a really unfortunate situation. So there's about 3 minutes left in the game. Brown fouls out. I believe Schmidt's intent was to be saving Venning for the closer end of the game when we were going to be within about 2 points probably. So he was intending to save Venning for those minutes. Brown fouls out. Venning has to come in. 3 minutes left in the game. 30 seconds later, he fouls out as well. So they just had to go small then. There was no other option.
I feel like kind of to what you were discussing, I was expecting more of a Barry Evans choice there as well. You know, we saw him a lot with the aggression on defense, especially with that fast break dunk that he had. I was expecting more, you know, especially with the foul trouble. You know, I would have seen Barry at that 5, you know, not typically his role, but we've seen him many times when bigs, especially from last season, start going down with foul trouble. Barry Evans is the man. We've seen his the confidence in him grow and everything, his ball handling skills, something that Deron Holmes, we saw yesterday, his footwork in the paint, he was dominating down there. He was. And I think Barry Evans just coming close towards the end would have just, you know, possibly eased, like what you were saying, close to that possession with, you know, that turnover that Dayton had towards the end to keep the game close. But that's what I would have wanted to see.
It also comes down to drawing fouls, being willing to take that contact in the paint, being willing to take the layup and sacrifice your body, and just, I don't think they were doing that. I don't think they were drawing fouls. And that's something, I think, an element of the game that we forget about, right, is that when you're going and you're driving to the basket, you want that defender to be in the wrong, and you want it to be an and one. And I don't think they were getting that last night. I think it comes down to having that mentality, putting in that effort. I just don't think they did that.
Although it was an unfortunate loss, I think it was still a really close game. Dayton came into this game 7th ranked nationally with 40% from 3. You know, they weren't really hitting threes last night, and I feel like the defense, although there was pressure up on Bonaventure, especially with like a couple of quick pick steals from the guards to them, the defense amongst the arc, they were really like closing out Dayton. And obviously we saw Deron Holmes was having a great night in the paint, but that I feel like the 3-point game, keeping them close to as not much as they would typically score, I think that was the advantage for St. Bonaventure. Now, we added one word to this, but it wouldn't be a show without Leah's list. So for this week, Leah, tell us what's on the list.
So this week we're going to do something a little bit differently. So actually for this whole month, it is Black History Month. So BBN would just like to thank the Black athletes, coaches, staff members, and fans for their dedication and passion to the men's and women's basketball programs throughout the years. So each week this month, we're going to be highlighting some of the Black athletes that made this program what it is today. So this week I have for you guys Sam and Tom Stith. They are brothers, and when they were young, the Stiths liked basketball, but after the deaths of their parents, that's when people really started to notice the aptitude they had for the sport. After they helped their team beat the Catholic high school champion of New York City, St. Francis Prep, the coach of that same school offered both boys a scholarship there, making them the first African Americans to play there. Sam, the older of the two, was 3 inches shorter than Tom and a great defender and powerful facilitator. Tom was the better scorer, though. During the 1959-1960 season, the brothers combined to average 52 points per game. Tom left Bonaventure as the school's all-time leading scorer with 2,052 points. He finished second in the nation in scoring in 1960, only behind NBA Hall of Famer Oscar Robertson. The Stiffs helped Bonas to 3 NIT berths and 1 NCAA tournament bid. After graduating, both brothers were drafted to the NBA. St. Bonaventure inducted both brothers into their Hall of Fame in 1969. So, we're going to be highlighting players like that every single week. But other than that, I want to move into something that we've kind of discussed a little bit earlier in the season, and that was on the lighter side of things. It was the men's fits, the men's team fits. So this week I wanted to talk about the women's team's fits, meaning their fashion and what are they bringing to the table. Do they have good style or do they not? So the first one I wanted to talk about is Peyton Fields. Obviously in the photo you see here, she's wearing an all black fit. I think the attention really comes down to the shoes. She has the Dior's on, the red, it stands out. What are you guys thinking? Does it work?
You know, I think it works. I feel like this is a simple, calm fit. You know, she has the basics on, but the shoes is what stands out to me the most. Like you said, the Dior, you know, you can't go, you know, that's just like a pop-out shoe. It's not an everyday shoe. You know, she's flexing on us a bit, which I respect, but it's a great photo, a great fit. Yeah, of course. You know, she's a basketball player, you know. Besides all of the gear that they wear all the time watching them, you know, I feel like they have another chance to express themselves like we saw with the men's fits and everything. But the women's fits, I also think like the Dior's, she's rocking them.
Yeah, you gotta have a good pair of shoes. If you play basketball and you've got great sneaker game, I mean, that's what stands out to me in this outfit. She's got the all black, drawing the attention to the shoes. I'm living for it.
Next up, I want to talk about Kira Dander's outfit here. If you guys know anything about color theory and the color wheel, you know red and green are opposite each other on there. They complement each other. So the green pants and then the red on the shoes, I think really makes everything pop. It brings the whole outfit together, and then just the neutral gray shirt too.
You know, Leah, I'm more of a color complementary girl myself. I'm not more of like, you know, kind of like with Peyton with the all black fit. I love a good complementary. You know, I go with my fours, complement them with like some good black, white and everything. But this is my favorite fit, I would say, out of them, top 2 at least. Not 1, but yeah. Just like it's calm, simple, but it's like every day I could wear this even out to like a party, you know, after, post game, whatever. I
could dress it up or dress it down.
Exactly,
versatile.
Yeah. I still like the other one better. I like this fit. This is good, this is casual, this is great streetwear. I like it, but I'm not as in love with it. I still love the all black. However, the shoe game, on point once again.
Jordan 11s can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong.
Last one, Tiana Johnson. This was, I believe, it's a lot of simple things just put together very nicely. It's so clean. Obviously, you have the accessories with the handbag. The hairstyle even really brings a lot to the outfit as well. I think with the right hairstyle, you could really make your outfit also. And then the pink in the jacket just really makes everything pop.
You know, I feel like this outfit is everything. I'm also an accessory girl, I'm a color coordinating girl, an accessories girl, I'm an all kind of girl. But this outfit is just screaming concert. I love the 2 little space buns with also the hair still out. I feel like this is just screaming like, you know, concert fit culture, especially with the knee-high boots. You can't go wrong. This is really cute. Especially like, you know, Tiana Johnson, she's versatile when it comes to her fashion. She could dress it up like we kind of said and dress it down. I feel like she's just well-rounded overall.
It's all about the bag for me. I love that bag. I am a person makes or breaks the outfit. Yeah. And I am feeling the vibe with the all black. I love the shape of it. That's what makes the outfit for me.
Number 3 on the list, we're going to be going into a little bit of more pop culture things, and you could actually have seen this on our Instagram page as well, where we've been posting some of the men's and women's players pregame playlists. So this week I wanted to actually pit 2 of the players against each other, one from the men's, one from the women's. So we have Micah Adams-Woods and Tiana Johnson's pregame playlist. Which one do you guys think is better? Who has the better music taste?
You know, I'm gonna go with Tiana Johnson with this one, just because I feel like Micah Adams-Woods is more on like the smooth, get ready, you know, with V's and, you know, some baby face Ray. That's not my kind of like get ready, pregame, get hype playlist. But you see like Tiana Johnson, she has a Lil Uzi Vert, G Herbo is really like versatile within there, a lot of hype music. You know, Micah Adams-Woods, if you talk to him a bit, you could tell he's really on that like smooth side, so I get the pregame playlist. But me, I'm going with Tiana Johnson all around. Fashion, music, what can't she do?
Allie?
I'm also gonna go with Tiana Johnson, but only for the fact that she has Lil Durk on her playlist. That is the only reason. And I respect that, because that is my favorite artist. So
something I think is cool about the pregame playlist too is that you see, like, obviously you were saying Micah Adams-Woods, his songs are a little bit more smooth. So And then Tiana's are more hype, getting her like more in the game day, what you would think a typical game day mindset would be. So I think it's cool to look at what these players actually are listening to pregame and kind of get a feel for what mindset they're in and what headspace before the game, what their vibe's like.
Their character, it speaks to their character and
exactly.
how they play.
Right.
I think I'm going to go with Tiana on this one as well, though. I just think it is very versatile. You have like a little bit of everything in there, and personally that's what I would want to listen to if I was playing, but I'm not, so I'm up here, and that's the end of Leah's list.
Sorry, Micah, but Tiana Johnson, we're going 3 for 3. Like Leah said, you guys can tune in to our Instagram and see other players throughout the season on their pregame playlist. But last week, we decided to show you guys Allie Elkins and her basketball dreams. But this week, she decided to take a break and sit behind the screen and write for the BV feature this week on her hot take. This week, we'll take it or leave it. What are we taking or leaving, Allie?
Well, first of all, Jaeline, I'm really sad my basketball career didn't work out. It was a quick out for me. It didn't work out. That's okay. I'm on to better things, and those better things are my opinion this week. And my opinion is that this women's basketball team is not that bad. They just don't have enough players.
Okay.
Right now, we're looking at a team with 9 healthy players. We're also looking at a team that has 8 players averaging 20 minutes a game. Not to mention, we also have a Danny Haskell who's averaging over 30 minutes per game. These players are tired. We're seeing a lot of games where they're not able to build momentum early and they have to play this comeback game. But then the comeback game never happens because even when they do come back, they have trouble maintaining what they already gained. So it's been a tough season for them. I think they're tired.
Leah?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I'm kind of in the middle on this one because I do think that obviously it's a very small team. You know, they are tired. We're almost to the end of conference play already, believe it or not. And it's just, they are tired, and I do believe that they're improving, though. There's a lot of heart there towards the end of games now, so I think that kind of adds to your point that, like, they're not bad. They have it in them.
Yep.
I'm excited to see what Crowley's recruitment looks like next year and how that all plays out.
You know, I'm going to take your hot take, Allie. I do think this women's team is an amazing team. Like you said, they're just tired. They're drained. You know, they don't have a lot of depth on the bench. Just 3 girls transitioning in. You know, Crowley's just been trying to find a new starting 5. He's been trying to maneuver it. The last game they played, he started Peyton Fields at the 4 instead of what we were typically seeing with like a typical Isabel Millicent or something. But I feel like he's just trying to figure out within the 8 that he's typically likes to play with, where is he going about this?
Yeah, and it's hard because it puts a lot of pressure on these players, not only in just the, what they're doing when they're out on the court, because he has to rotate people so often, but they can't get injured.
Right.
They can't get injured. Like, if somebody else gets injured, that makes their roster even smaller. And we saw this injury bug going around earlier in the season, but right now they're in a position where if somebody gets injured, it's going to be really tough. And I think that's unfortunate. Next year, I took a look at some of the recruits. We've got a couple people over 6 feet, which also is going to help them in the height department. I think that's another huge part of this. But it's going to be better, I think, once they have a few more people on the roster, a little bit more depth.
I mean, it's Crowley's first year back. This team is going to take a few years to build up something like how he was in his first in here again. But like you said, I'm really excited to see the new bigs come in. I think that's going to be essential to success for this team.
Well, coming up, we'll discuss a lot more of the women's basketball discussion on their way to George Washington, where they play them again. And we'll also have our final predictions for that game.
This week, we caught up with former St. Bonaventure basketball player Jaeline Holmes, who's playing basketball in the United Kingdom for the BBL.
Living in a completely different country, completely different culture, just trying to immerse myself into that. It's been great, honestly.
Apparently, there's a big difference between basketball in the United States and basketball overseas.
As far as fouls, not really getting a lot of foul calls. I've even learned some steps over here that you can really do here and that people will call it travel in America.
But life overseas has posed some other challenges, you could say.
Driving on the wrong side of the road, I have a car over here, so it's not driving on the wrong side over here, but it's completely driving. It's bad.
But Jaeline still keeps up with the Bonnies, despite being in a different country and a different time zone.
Last night, watched the game, amazing victory coming back against VCU. So it was great and exciting to watch that. But then I had to get up early morning, go to practice. So today was a little bit rough, but you know, sometimes I sacrifice those things to watch the games.
I'm Allie Elkins.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
The Deshko Listine has been a leader on offense and defense for a Bonnie's team that has really been struggling and currently riding a 9-game losing streak. But let's look at Listine's stats to see how she has fared this season. Listine has been an impactful all-around player for the Bonnies, leading the team in defensive rating and ranks 3rd on the team in offensive rating. Nadeshko Listine is a consistent scorer for the Bonnies, averaging 10.4 points per game, which is good for 2nd on the team. She also leads the Bonnies in field goal percentage, shooting 46.4% from the field. Listine has also shot well from deep, shooting 30.3% from three-point range, which ranks 3rd on the Bonnies. In addition to being a leading scorer, Listine also ranks 2nd on the team in assists, averaging 1.7 per game. One area where Listine has killed the Bonnies is turnovers. She turns the ball over at an alarming rate, averaging 3.9 per game, which is the most in the A10. But Listine tries to get back some of her turnovers, leading the Bonnies with 1.5 steals per game. And when it comes to rebounding, Listine gives it her all, averaging 4.7 per game, good for 2nd on the team. Nadeshko Listine's aggressive style of play may cause her to commit lots of turnovers, but in return, you get a leading scorer that rebounds well and plays solid defense, which is needed on a Bonnies team with little to no depth. From BBN, I'm Anthony DeSilva.
So let's discuss a bit with that Davidson game, ladies. You know, it wasn't a terrible game. You know, we discussed it a bit, but what happened? Let's talk about it.
I mean, I think that they just let the game get away from them a lot at the end, and they were playing with heart, which is something we've talked about so many times, and that's exactly what Crowley wants from his teams. He just wants them to fight. But they did that until the final buzzer. They just couldn't put the pieces together exactly. I saw a lot of aggression from Peyton Fields. Obviously, Middleton came off the bench with 9 points and 7 rebounds, which was exactly what you need. Tiana Johnson showed up at the end with some grit there, and that's how they battled their way back into it, but couldn't put the pieces back together. Something that I wanted to pose to you guys is, do you think it's too late in their season now to still be learning how to put the pieces together?
I absolutely don't think it is too late. I just feel like we're discussing and touching on, something has to be discussed. You know, they have the chemistry. We can see it's there, you know, they're building, they're passing. It's not wrong. I just think what's the problem is the bigs. You know, they're getting out rebounded truly. Mm-hmm. You know, we're putting up shots, but nobody's rebounding the shots. So those long rebounds that these other teams are getting and, you know, having fast break points off of turnovers and things like that, that's what's killing them. They're not having bigs down there trying to rebound and everything and really maneuver and try to get the ball back to the guards.
Yeah, to build off of what you just said, yeah, Davidson had a ton of points off of turnovers, but even worse than that was the number of assists Bonaventure had. 4 assists in that entire game. Those are the kind of numbers that if I'm Crowley, I'm looking at those and I'm saying, okay, we're not passing the ball enough, because that's not helping each other out. That's not moving the ball on offense when you only have 4 assists for an entire game, and that's something that stood out to me. I think it's just about, once again, getting this chemistry together, moving the ball, finding the open person, like just figuring out a way on offense, running some plays, making some cross passes. Like, they just need to work together a little bit more.
Right. But with all that, the women head to Virginia to face GW again. Last time they played, they lost 62-78 with Nadeshka Listine had 15 points and 4 steals. Middleton and Haskell both had 10 points, and Kira Dandridge came off the bench with aggressive 9 points. Let's talk about key matchups going into this game. Leah?
So I have Mayowa Tawo and Taylor Napper. I think they're both bigs. They both don't take a lot of shots, maybe around like 4 to 6. They make about half of them. Tawo averages like 5 points and 5 boards, so also not too bad. I think it's something that Napper could keep up with and really box out. I mean, I'm excited to see how she's going to adjust her interior defense to box Taiwo out, because she's big, she's strong, she's aggressive, but she's not a great shooter, not a great free throw shooter. So at the same time, she can also kind of be a liability to GW.
You know, I like that key matchup because, you know, I said they're going to GW. Kara Dangers and Taylor Napper, they're from around that area. So I feel like although you're going into unfamiliar territory, you still have a big fan base joining you. You know, I feel like you were saying, I would like to see a lot of, like, you know, pass the ball into the paint, get the bigs going, a lot of tango back and forth with each other, and I feel like that's just something that we'll have to see for key matchups.
Something important to note too is Taiwo and Napper's minutes both fluctuate a lot depending on if they're getting in foul trouble or not. So it'll be interesting to see also if Napper has a lot of support there too, if she wants to like battle through that and really play through that, and then maybe she gets more minutes and overpowers Taiwo.
Allie?
What I'd love to see in this game is a three-point shooting contest between Nia Robertson and Danny Haskell. If you remember anything about their last game, you'll remember about how Nia Robertson absolutely went off from the three-point line, and I know Danny can do that too. I'd like to see back-to-back Danny Haskell, Nia Robertson, three-point shooting the lights out. Like, that's my ideal game. I want to see that from them. I want to see Bonaventure overcome that. I want to see them defend the three-point line a little bit more. Maybe run a little more, like, two people covering Nia, watching her in the corners. Like, I need to see that because that would make for a great game.
For my key matches, I also had Nia Robertson. She did have 31 points that game, 18 points coming from that three. Like you said, I do like the shootout, but I personally would like to see a Nia Robertson, Nadeshka Lacine, just because Nadeshka, like I said, she had 4 steals that game, and off of that, Robertson had about 8 turnovers. That lock-up defense that Nadeshka is about, you can see that well-rounded, you know. They had a lot of points off of turnovers. They had 23, Bonaventure. That's the most they've ever done this conference season. And second chance points, that's something that they have to, like I said, that Taylor Napper key matchup, that's something that I would like to see. George Washington had 17 second chance points last time they played. That's just something that it can't be done again. They defended the three a bit well versus the other opponents, but that Nia Robertson, like you said, I'd love to see that shootout, but I'm going to see the Nadeshka Lacine and Nia Robertson matchup just because I want to see that ball pressure defense that Nadeshka can put on. Yeah.
I'm excited to see Nadeshka Lacine.
Either a dogfight or a shootout.
She can bring something.
3-point shootout, I'm fine for it.
If Nadeshka Lacine can play her traditional game where she drives through those defenders and makes those like inside shots that you don't expect, this is going to be a different game. For sure.
Right. So we did key matchups. What are our final predictions for this game? I'm going with the W column. I know I didn't win the last time. I had them winning against Dayton, but you know, Bonaventure is coming into this 14th and GW is coming into this 13th in A10 standings. Their only win is against Bonaventure. You know, I'd like for them to tie the series, go 1-1. I feel like it could be done. The key matchups is there. It's not like George Washington has proven to the rest of the A10 that they're beatable. Their only win is against the women's team.
I agree with you. I know we went 0-3 last time, if I even dare say that, but I agree with you. I think that Bonaventure's going to go in there with a chip on their shoulder. They have something to prove. Like you said, we have some players that are kind of close to home, and they're playing at GW, so I think that's going to be something to look out for.
Yeah, GW is somebody who's actually had a lot of trouble in conference play. Their first conference play win was against Bonaventure, and so this kind of idea of they're struggling in conference play could be something that will play into their nervousness for them. I know when I talked to the George Washington coach, one of the players she said she was worried about was Isabella Middleton. I think that's going to shine this game. Her aggressiveness is crazy. Yes. I think this St. Bonaventure team will have them figured out now. Crowley's a great coach. He has a great IQ when it comes to knowing how to figure out other teams. I think they got this in the bag.
Middleton is also from close to GW, so that would be interesting also.
Bringing another family to the fan base, yeah. So that's all. That's a wrap for Bonnie's Basketball Now. I'm Jaeline Valdez. Alongside me again, Leah Lockwood and Allie Elkins. We'll see you guys next week.